At least one person was injured when two jet skis crashed on Lake Hartwell. South Carolina's Department of Natural Resources reported on social media it happened yesterday in Anderson County. A woman who was a passenger on one of the jet skis was injured. She was taken to a hospital. We don't know her condition. Look for updates as we learn more on the air and on WSPA.com.
Earthquakes have been shaking things up in Greenwood County, and 7 News' Scarlett Lizjak spoke with experts on the potential causes of these quakes.
Over the last several days, a swarm of earthquakes has hit Greenwood County, but experts tell me it's nothing to worry about. Greenwood County has experienced 11 earthquakes since Friday, with the most recent one on Monday. All of them registered between 1.5 and 3.0 on the magnitude scale, centered mostly around Lake Greenwood.
We've had about 11 since last Friday. I think the biggest one measured 2.9, somewhere in there, and they've been less than that up until yesterday. We try to monitor it just to see what's going on. I did make a phone call today to the USGS people. They don't seem worried. They said we could have more, we might not have more.
Seismologists describe this as an earthquake swarm, a cluster of similar-sized quakes in one area. But what's causing them is uncertain.
These things popped up all of a sudden. We don't really know what's causing them. That's one of the mysteries of eastern U.S. earthquakes, is we really don't know what actually triggers these things.
Experts say these quakes are too weak to cause damage to local infrastructure or disrupt daily life.
You usually don't think of earthquakes as causing damage until they get up into the high 4s and 5s. That's when they start causing damage. But earthquakes like this, unless you've got something delicately balanced on the edge of a shelf that's ready to fall over, it's pretty unlikely there's any damage from these earthquakes.
A local seismologist says it's important for the public not to worry. It's just Mother Nature at work.
I don't think there is anything that people need to worry about. The likelihood of these earthquakes getting any larger is very low, just because of where we are in the world, where these earthquakes are, and how small and old the faults are that these earthquakes are most likely occurring on. They're most likely relatively shallow, in the upper couple of miles from the Earth's surface.
In Greenwood County, Scarlett Lizjak, 7 News.
Experts that we spoke to say that small earthquakes happen regularly on the East Coast. Greenwood County Emergency Management says if people there do have any questions, they should give their office a call. Well, and environmental enforcement officers are sounding the alarm. They say there's a dangerous increase of floating docks drifting out into the water. 7 News' Ariana Meadows tells us how this is a problem for not only swimmers and boaters, but wildlife.
Here at Lake Hartwell, there's been an issue with dock floats drifting off into boating and swimming areas. Environmental enforcement officers say this is not healthy nor safe.
With boots, binoculars, and a life vest, park rangers are working to keep the lake clean and safe. It's also up to us to do the same.
So the issue is all the dock floats that are out in the lake. Not only is it an environmental concern, but it's also a safety hazard for boaters that are out on the lake, potentially hitting one of them.
Emergency Management, Department of Natural Resources, and park rangers regularly monitor the lake. As a team, they've collected 70 floats in one day before.
Sometimes the dock floats will get broken loose from storms. Sometimes you may pull it up along the shoreline and the lake will come up and then the dock float floats away and you don't know where it went. So we just want to make sure that people are aware of the dangers of dock floats.
Park rangers tell us some floats contain materials that deteriorate over time, releasing harmful debris into the water that animals might accidentally eat. There are ways to prevent this from happening.
If you're a dock owner on the lake, you need to check on the maintenance of your dock and make sure that everything is in good working order on your dock, that you don't have loose boards, loose floats. Make sure that your electrical connections are all maintained in the proper manner.
While out on the lake, park rangers have also noticed a major litter problem.
We saw today there were a number of different places where people have camped on islands where they pulled up just for the day and left a lot of trash. Don't leave your trash on the islands. It is bad for everyone.
Reports show some people are intentionally letting float docks loose into the water, which comes with a hefty price.
It is unlawful dumping. That would be the citation that was issued, or that would be issued, and there are fines that go along with that.
Park rangers say after they collect dock floats, they're taken to landfills. In Anderson County, Ariana Meadows, 7 News.
Now, officials say those dock floats when they are no longer in use, they must be removed and legally disposed of in accordance with local and state regulations. South Carolina, of course, no stranger to powerful storms during hurricane season. We all know that as the anniversary of Helene approaches. And that's why the South Carolina Army National Guard stands ready to respond. 7 News State House reporter Caroline Jaffa has more on how the soldiers prepare and step in during storm season. It's a story you'll see only on 7.
If a hurricane or tropical storm is expected to hit the state, the South Carolina Army National Guard says they prepare just in case they need to step in and protect South Carolinians.
We have the resources, we have the vehicles, and we're ready and we're postured to help the citizens.
The South Carolina Army National Guard has a combined force of around 11,000 soldiers and airmen. So when there is a storm, the governor can call them to action.
Our Adjutant General, General Stillwell, he is that conduit, and he works directly with the governor, and then he determines the capability, and he exercises that capability with the governor. And then as myself as a brigade commander, he'll tell me how many soldiers he needs, what resources he needs, what that capability, and what we're looking at.
When they're on the ground, they use equipment and resources to partner with the state to help. SCEMD Director Kim Stenson sent us this statement that reads in part: the South Carolina Emergency Management Division works closely with the South Carolina National Guard and members of the State Emergency Response Team before, during, and after hurricanes to keep people safe and support local communities.
You got to go get them, and we're never going to say no. That's what we do. That's when you wear the cloth of the nation, you're here to support and defend and protect the citizens.
Troop Command Brigade Commander Denton Smith says they use this vehicle to help people evacuate the area if there's mass flooding.
The citizens want to make sure that they have a resource, and that resource is a high water vehicle that they can go into 30 plus inches of water, and they can be secured. We have ladders on the back that we can get the citizens of South Carolina on the back. We can evac them out of the affected area.
Smith says they have sent soldiers to help other states with storms like Hurricane Helene and Hurricane Milton, but their main priority is South Carolina. In Columbia, Caroline Jaffa, 7 News.
Smith says it is very important that the counties and agencies request their help when needed so they can go out and do their mission. Greenville City Council gave the green light to a number of annexations. The mayor says it is the most approved at one time in several years. 7 News' Taylor Farmer has the details.
This city limits sign will soon be moved down the street. The city of Greenville has approved the annexation of more than 100 acres.
At Monday night's Greenville City Council meeting, 10 annexations were approved, totaling approximately 125 acres that will now become part of the city of Greenville. The newly annexed areas include parts of West Greenville near Brandon Mill, sections along the 2000 block of Wadehampton Boulevard, and Hampton Station off Pete Hollis Boulevard.
We provide better security, I think, in terms of our police protection. We provide a good public works. We build sidewalks. We have street lights. And also just growth management. We do a better job at planning things and a lot of citizen participation. So all those things are very appealing to people who are in areas, especially areas that are kind of emerging.
Emerging areas with new homes, apartment complexes, growing businesses, and increasingly heavy foot and vehicle traffic. Tina Belgi, a business owner in the West Village, says she thinks it's a smart move for the city to expand its reach into this part of town.
So that actually is a good partnership where the city can help take some of that pressure off the county. We can't get too big because then it's too much for the city to manage, but it's appropriate when it's right around our city centers.
Mayor White says residents in the newly annexed areas will now see a drop in property taxes.
Those districts have just raised their own taxes for their fire district over many decades, and over time it's actually exceeded the total property taxes for the city.
Belgi believes Greenville has done a good job planning for growth, but says infrastructure and parking in the annexed areas will need attention as development continues.
Parking has been a big problem with all development coming up, and you know what, that is actually a good thing, is driving people maybe to bike, to be mobile, but if we don't have good transit in place to get people to and from this area and there's no parking, then that's when it is really an issue.
City leaders say this move positions Greenville for long-term growth in areas that have previously been underserved. In Greenville, Taylor Farmer, 7 News.
Now, Mayor White believes the last time this much property was annexed into the city was around a decade ago when the shops at Green Ridge, among others, were annexed into city limits.